Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Illusion. I'm your host, Tammy Marsh, and tonight we have a very special show. We're going to be talking about alternative medicines and holistic health. And then we get down to what I do, and what our guest tonight does is more in lines with what we call energy medicines. And, of course, our guest has a little bit of a curve to this, and it's one that I haven't heard before, and that's why I find him very interesting. And when I look at it within my intuition, I find that this is a very, very good modality for someone that would like to branch out and find something different. The energy medicines, I mean, they range anywhere from Reiki to Theta to shamanic, which is the ones that I do. I do all three of those modalities. Of course, I don't think of shamanic as a modality because it is guided by spirit. But our guest tonight, like I said, he's got something that is very, very, very different. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. His name is Chris Kehler, and he is a quantum energy healer who uses the pendulum and chart method of finding any health problem within the body. Once the problem is found, Chris uses sacred geometry, such as pyramids, to neutralize the stressor causing the health problem. So he finds the stressor that actually causes the health problem. This protocol is very effective on any type of health problem, from physical ailments like arthritis, diabetes, and migraines, to non-physical issues like addiction, autism, learning difficulties, of any mental problems. And this protocol is also used for spiritual attachments and black magic voodoo influences. I want to welcome Chris. Chris, how are you doing?
Hi, Tammy. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
You know, this is the first I've heard of this. Can you tell us something about what you do? It's very, very interesting.
Well, the work that I do, I've only been doing this type of work for probably the past 6 years that I really discovered it. Before I was doing this, I was in the printing trade that had nothing to do with alternative health. The roads changed a little bit for me. My path changed. All of a sudden, I found myself within this realm of healing. Basically, it's a technique that I took from a few different courses that I found. I did a quantum touch course. I did some radionic training and a few different other courses. And I basically was guided to my own type of healing modality using a pendulum, using charts, using sacred geometry like pyramids, like you said, and different rings and different other kinds of energy tools that are made by one specific person in Canada who we can maybe talk about later. But ultimately, when you're looking for a health problem, what I have found is that if you're really open-minded about what a health problem can consist of, you can find any health problem. And that's what I find is the big plus for this whole system that I do is being open-minded that anything can be a component of a health problem.
And what would that look like? I mean, what types of things can be a health problem?
Let's put it this way. Okay, so one example I like to use, when you're deep sea diving, if you go down really deep and you come up too fast, what happens? You get the bends. Okay, so nitrogen gas bubbles, carbon gases are going to expand in your body, cause a lot of pressure and cause an illness. Okay. Why can't you have the bends when you're on dry land? How many people get a little pain in their foot or something happens in their body when the pressure changes, when the weather changes? So I look to that aspect of things, that absolutely anything can be part of a health problem.
You know, and I find it very, very interesting, and you know, and part of what you say that this does, which, you know, and I will give you the benefit of the doubt, especially where I come from and the way I look at things, you know, you said it's also used for spiritual attachments. Now, you want to expound on that just a little bit?
Well, what I have found in my training with one of my mentors in Alberta, the guy who makes my tools, there are a lot of health problems that are caused by spiritual attachment. So let me give an example. There's a lot of people who are very sensitive to energies, like you and I and many other people. These spiritual attachments, and these are spirits that are roaming the earth, okay? They haven't crossed over to the light, and they want to stay on this third dimension earth. Maybe they don't know they're dead yet. Who knows, right? If they get into your energy, into your body, it causes a disharmony within your body. Your body is smart. It knows something is wrong. Something is there that's not supposed to be. And your body's going to maybe try to fight it by sending antibodies or inflammation or free radical cells to try and fight it, subsequently causing a health problem. If that attachment is within a certain part of your body that's weak, let's say you've got a weak pancreas, now that may be the onset of diabetes. So spiritual attachment component is very, very huge, and it even goes as deep as extraterrestrial and alien attachments.
Okay. Now, you also work with a pendulum and charts.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, everybody knows what a pendulum is. They've been around for centuries. Basically, the way I work is I've got a huge set of charts I developed with every area of the body imaginable, even stuff that I just think about, or I ask my guides, what should I put in my charts? When I work in the aura, most people with their training will work within the causal body, physical body, emotional body, and so on. I go as far as working within, let's have a look here. I work within your free will. I work within your Akashic records. Law of attraction, the dark matter in your aura. The dark matter is all the spaces between the cells and molecules and the light particles within your body. So I go really deep with it when it comes to working physical. I mean, physical is physical. So the charts and the pendulum and my guides will put me in the right direction, tell me exactly what area of the body to work on. Let's say you've got migraines. Of course, you're going to want to work in the brain. And it's going to tell me exactly what the problem is. Is it iron buildup? Is it calcium buildup? Is it a parasite? Is it a spiritual attachment? Is it anything like that?
That's really, really interesting. That's very, very interesting. Chris, there's also another thing that I wanted to just kind of, now a lot of people will kind of refrain from seeking out someone that is, that uses these different kinds of modalities or the spiritual guided way of healing. However, you put a little bit of a twist on that, I've noticed, because you actually do some kind of blood work as well.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of brings it together. I mean, that people can see that you're actually can see what these things do. And I would love for you to talk about that.
Oh, the live blood analysis, actually, I got into it because I thought it would be a neat toy to play with. When I did energy on somebody, you could see how the blood cells would change. But what I'm finding, what works really well with it is if I'm dowsing and it comes up that it says that there's a parasite problem in your body. So now a person looks at me and says, well, okay, I believe what you say, but now if I take a drop of your blood, put it in the microscope, and right before your eyes you can see within your blood, and you see parasites, there's no denying that the person has a parasite problem. If it says that there's uric acid crystals causing a problem in your body, causing pain in your joints, let's look at your blood. Quite often you can see uric acid crystals. So it is a tangible way to work within the energy that I do to really show exactly what's going on in your body. It works fantastic together.
That's absolutely amazing, because I had not even, thought of having that kind of tool to back up what you would call I hesitate to say diagnosis because, we don't want to get into some legal terms here, but to find out what the cause of the problem is. Actually, do you do this blood work before and after, or is it something that you do in every session practice with clients, or is this something that you only do by request, or how does that work?
Well, it's something that I do when I feel it's something we need to do. If people request it, we spend a few minutes. Unfortunately, I can't do live blood analysis on a person that's not in my office. Most of my work I do over Skype and over the phone with many people in different other cities and countries all over the world. So the live blood analysis is something that has to be done in the office with a person there. But generally, you know what, I'm going to want to have a look at everybody's blood who comes in my office, because it does give you that extra look, something that could raise a red flag that we need to deal with.
Absolutely. And you were talking about that you do this work via phone or Skype, and I know as well as you do that in the work that we do as healers, that there is no time and space. So you absolutely do not have to be physically right there for this type of healing modality, this type of gosh, I'm really stumbling on the words here, because it is a way of healing. And I want to call it medical, but it is not medical. It is spiritual.
It's 100% spiritual.
It is 100% spiritual. And people don't understand just how important it is with this spiritual level of thinking, this spiritual level of even your thoughts, and how this shapes and creates what we experience in our everyday life, whether it be physically, mentally, or spiritually. And so but with that being said, this can be done for everybody. There is not anybody that this will not work for. And a lot of people say, well, all of this stuff because of, back in, in the churches and stuff, they says, well, if you believe enough, if you believe that this will work enough, God will come down and do this for you. But this is more than belief here. You don't have to believe these things work. You have to just simply allow them to.
That's right. And what I generally find is if somebody's not a believer, they're not going to be calling me or coming into my clinic anyway. But I have had some people, with maybe pushing from their family members or a friend who's done this type of work, saying, go try it, go try it, go try it. So they come in my office and they cross their arms and they're like, okay, crazy guy, show me what you can do. So I'll do some work, and sure enough, they'll notice a difference right away. And quite often with this work, you do notice if you got a pain level of, let's say, 10, it'll go down to a 4 or a 2 by the end of the session. And what all they'll say is, well, maybe it just would have gone down on its own anyway, or maybe a pill I took 2 hours ago helped. They'll just deny that the work worked. It'll still have an effect. They'll just deny it. And you know what? That's perfectly fine with me, because as long as your problem is gone, I really don't care.
That's interesting you say that, because that's the key. As long as the problem is gone. That's
right. That's all I really care about.
Okay.
You come to see me and you have a problem and it's gone, my work is done.
So let's, and you use a lot of different tools that I have not particularly seen before. I did go to your website and look at some of the tools that you use. And while we're talking about your website, would you like to give that out so maybe some of the listeners can find you?
Sure, I'd love to. The website is chriskehler.net, and it's spelled CHRISKEHLER.net. Make sure you use .net, because there is a chriskehler.com, and he's an accountant. So you don't want to go there.
Well, unless you need an accountant.
Unless you need an accountant, and you like the name, that's fine. The tools that I use, they're made by one person and one person only. And the interesting story about the fellow who makes them, he just doesn't have a metal shop and makes these things. Of course he does, but he is probably one of the most energetic, advanced people on the planet. The name of his company is called Crystalline. You're not going to find any information on the internet about it. He's very to himself. What his job is to run energy into the Earth grid to clear it for the upcoming 5th dimension. So that's what his job is. And basically when he's doing that, envision yourself putting your finger in a light socket for 5 days at a time. Okay, he's running that much energy, and it almost kills him sometimes. So he's got a very, very strong energy component to his body. And when he's making these tools, he's putting that energy within the tools. And if you want, later on, we can actually do a demonstration where I can run some energy through the radio show, and people are going to feel the energy.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would absolutely love to do that. I would absolutely love to do that. You know, and Chris, I know that there's things that that you do that I don't know that you do. And would you like to kind of share with me and our listeners what those things that you really want to get out there, those things from the heart that you really want to share with people, you know, about you, about the work that you do, and the really, really, you know, you said you were guided. I would like to talk about how you were guided. You know, what led you up to all of those things that you would like to share with the listeners.
All I can say, Tammy, is that this stuff is working. It goes to levels that nobody can even perceive. I'm going to give you a quick example. I got married 3 years ago to a lovely lady, and 2 years ago we had a baby. Okay, wonderful thing. So now this baby is teething like you wouldn't believe. Pain. He can't sleep, of course. He's screaming. He's got a fever. And it's 2 a.m, and we're looking at each other going, oh, what's going on here? So I figured, you know, I got to be able to do something, right? So what I did, I took my pendulum, asked my guides what to do. The pendulum said to call on the Agarthans to wrap him in a blanket of compassion. So I took my pyramid, held it over his body, and I said, Agarthans, please wrap Joshua in a blanket of compassion. 1.1 seconds later, he is jumping off the bed, laughing and playing. That's amazing. That is truly amazing. My wife looked at me and says, what was that? And I looked at her and says, wow, that was quick.
Okay, so what is Agarthans?
The Agarthans are a race of dimensional beings that are positive within our realm, within our Earth. There's of course good ones, bad ones. There's extraterrestrials like the gray aliens and reptilians that are bad. The Agarthans, the Palladians, all these different astral beings are actually here to help us. Okay. So and that goes right along with being right here on this station, Revolution Radio, is because we talk about things that other people wouldn't normally talk about. We also spread information, and that's the reason I have you here today. I'm very, very interested in what you do. I'm also very, very interested that you don't allow the common, what I would call the common state of mind that some people are, to get in the way of what you do. It's absolutely time for us to start expanding. A lot of us have been on this journey of expansion, and each and every one of us will expand in a way that is true to us in the time that is. But in doing so, there are many, many, many people out there that don't realize, because it has been a really, really hush stuff. You know, if you go to someone that is not under the heading of the medical profession, which is not what this is, because there really, really isn't. Even though we do have certificates for doing Reiki, and we've got education in doing so, and the certificates to back us up, it is not considered a licensed professional. No, it's not. And you know what? And that's okay, because it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If people are getting results from this, then you know what? It has to be recognized by the people who want it, and for the people who are looking for it. And that's one reason why I'm doing this radio show with you, is to help get the word out there that, you know what? This is out there. This works. You can trust it. You can have confidence that you're going to be taken care of. When somebody comes into my fold, you're not just a client who I'm going to take $50 a session from and do some work and say, bye, see you later. I'm going to keep tabs on you. I'm going to make sure that this is working for you. And if it's not, we're going to give you satisfaction. I'm not a charlatan. When you work with me, you don't spend another $200 on herbs and supplements and sign up under multi-level marketing plans. I mean, that to me that just doesn't work. I am all about using my heart and using my energy to help you with a health problem. That's what I am all about.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. You know, we've had enough. We've absolutely had enough of taking things that may or may not be good for us. You know, and when I say that, you know, we have to be very, very careful on whatever it is even the doctors are giving us these days. I mean, you can even see that in the commercials that are being broadcast out there, you know, on our televisions. You know, you take this for this problem, but it is going to cause you to have 15 different other possible side effects.
Well, that's right. Well, my first wife, she had scleroderma. She was given prednisone. She was taking it for 5 years. That's what ultimately got her, was the prednisone she was taking. It wasn't so much her disease, because she had a heart attack. And the disease was in her joints and in her muscles. So it was more so the prednisone that she was taking for so long.
Absolutely, and it's not just the prednisone. There's so many out there, you know. But I didn't come on here to do, and I'm the one that started it, to come on here to smear this. But you're right. We do have to let people know that there are alternative ways to get the healing and get our bodies back into a state of well-being.
That's right, and you know what? Alternative modalities. There are so many out there. There's, you know, like you said, you do Reiki. I've done quantum touch, which is pretty much almost the same as Reiki on a different level. There's EFT. There's herbs. There's juicing. There's positive affirmation. There's all these different things, and it can be really confusing for people to know what is the best one for me to work with. So what I always tell people is, you know, do some research, find out what...
Okay, Chris, let's stop right there. We are going to a break. There's some music. We'll be right back, everybody.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Back, everybody. You're listening to Beyond the Illusion. I am your host, Tammy Marsh, and tonight's topic is alternative healing, and we have a wonderful guest with us, Chris Kehler. I was just doing a little bit of a chat behind the scenes here with Chris as we were on to break, and he did mention in the first half hour about doing something for the audience. And Chris, are you ready to do something like that?
Always ready.
That I would love to have you do that if you would be so graceful in doing.
Okay, so what we're going to do, whenever I start doing my healing, there's a step process to this. The first thing that I do is I have a tool. It looks like a basketball hoop with a bunch of inward-facing spikes within it. And what this tool is designed to do is to draw out general negativity within your body, and that's negativity you absorb on a daily basis from, you know, driving your car and somebody cuts you off, watching, you know, negativity on the news, and you know, people you work with that kind of rub you the wrong way, that type of thing. Also, you pick up general negativity from food, from somebody who makes it, who's in a bad mood, and so on. So what this tool is going to do, I'm going to put this over my computer. Now, anybody who's listening, I want you to stand up. This works better when you stand up, and I want you to continue. I want you to put your hands on your computer, on your keyboard, whatever. And what you're going to feel when I start doing this, within about 30 seconds, we're not going to do it very long. If you're a really sensitive person, you're going to feel a heaviness in your legs, like there's a magnetic field trying to pull your body into the ground. Or you could feel really off balance, where you feel like somebody is pushing you back and forth. Or you could feel a tingling in your fingertips or something like that. So I've got it over the computer. So I want everybody listening to stand up. and let's see what kind of results we get. Normally, this gets great results. If you don't feel it, it means that we need to do it longer. It means you're that blocked up with negativity that we have to do it longer. So we don't want to take up the whole show and do this. So, Tammy, let me know when you feel something. It's going to feel like a heaviness or possibly.
I absolutely will. I am standing up, and I have my hands on the computer. I am going to mute during this, so if it takes me a little bit to respond back, just know that I'm fumbling with the mute button. So I'm ready when I'm sure the listeners are ready. Everybody that wants to join us in this this healing. So take it away, Chris.
Go for it. The ring is on, and you should feel something right away, within about 30 seconds. Within about 30 seconds.
I actually already do feel a pulling throughout the bottom of my feet.
There we go.
More so on the right side than the left.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to be different. What I find is that some people get a pulling from their arms, some people from their head. Most people, it's within your lower legs and maybe lower back. It could be an area where you had a surgery or some kind of trauma pulling negativity out of there. But everybody's different, and you know, some people are going to feel off balance, like they're being pushed around. Some people will feel the heaviness. Everybody's different, but you know, ultimately, these tools, I'll tell you, that the energy that they pack is unbelievable. That's why I love it so much.
You know, in me particularly, I am feeling just a little bit of pressure as well as the pulling in the right side. It really feels like my heel is being buried into the carpet.
There you go.
It really feels like it's really buried into the carpet.
Perfect.
I'm also feeling a little bit of pressure throughout my lower extremities.
Okay. So if there's anybody in the chat room, I want you to respond back if you're feeling something, okay?
Yeah, that would be great. And Thomas will absolutely, you know, put those in there. We are going to call out for some callers because I know that, you know, with so much different information and everything that is out and going on, and so many different people looking out for themselves by seeking out something different and becoming aware that there's different modalities out there and methods of healing, that if anybody would like to call in and ask a question of either me or Chris, whatever that might be, that would be absolutely wonderful. I did ask Chris a little bit. He said he would be up to doing that. I will give the number out right now, 347-688-2902. Again, that number is 347-688-2902. Or you can get with us by adding a Mad Painter to your Skype. A Mad Painter to your Skype, and our wonderful producer, Thomas Becker, a.k.a. a Mad Painter, can pull you in that way. So so please feel free to do that. And, you know, any question at all, you know, I can do a quick scan on your physical being. Chris can do his thing, and we can take it from there.
Absolutely.
And so please do call in. Please do call in. And it really doesn't matter what it is that is your area of concern right now. It doesn't matter. It could be anything at all. And we have a perfect person, actually a couple of people. I'm very good at the, you know, body scanning with my intuition, and Chris is also very good at what he does. So I do invite you guys to call in, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. Nothing is too big. Nothing is too small. Just allowing yourself to ask that question, allow us into your energy, and just say yes. So I'm looking forward to anybody that chooses to do that. So while we're waiting for someone to do that, I'm hoping there will be. Tell us more about Chris.
Well, Chris is a down-to-earth kind of guy. There's a lot of people who do get into this spiritual area of healing, and they start to wear robes and you know, wrap themselves in headbands and walk around with their hands together and you know, pretend to be somebody they're not. Those are people who do have a lot of ego. And, there are a lot of people who are really authentic who do that. But I have met some people who are kind of like that. And I just don't find they're very grounded. I'm a normal type of guy. I've got a family. I play in a band. I play the drums. We just played yesterday at an outdoor music festival. I go to the lake with in my camper, and we sit by the fire, have a couple beer, and I'm very down to earth and just a nice guy to be around. I am authentic. I don't put on any airs. I love what I do for a living. I'm never going to stop doing it. I'm never going to retire.
That is the key word right there, Chris. It's very, very key to me because, you say you love doing what you're doing.
Yes.
You love doing what you're doing. When we put our heart into doing what we're doing and we find that one thing, that very one thing, or multiple things for that matter, that things that we enjoy doing, it's not work anymore.
That's right. That's right. I quit working, 6 years ago. Now I'm just living. Now I'm doing something. I'm giving back to humanity. I'm able to make differences in people's lives. People in Australia, Norway, Germany, Russia, United States. Lots of people in the United States like this. It's better than paying for health care, right?
I don't pay for health care. The last time I went into a hospital, Chris, I was having chest pains. And they were quite significant because it would take something quite significant to get me to do something like that. Okay.
Right.
And so I went into the emergency room, and while I was there, of course they hooked me up to an EKG and and things, and I'm sitting there, and Spirit told me to get up and leave.
Mm-hmm.
That I was not safe there. And although I'm not sure what not safe meant, I am completely trusting with what I am guided to do. And first clue, though, before that, I was introduced to the doctor, and I immediately did not enjoy his energy. We'll just put it that way. So I got up and told them I was leaving, and they really, really had a problem with that. But it's like, I'm of sound mind, and I can choose whether to leave, and I'm leaving, and did. And they said, well, what about your pain? And I said, my pain's going to go. It's going to subside. It's going to go away. And I walked out, and sure enough, before I returned home, everything was fine. What was going to happen here was I was going to, get a lot of tests that I didn't need. And the doctor had already said that he was going to give me, 3 or 4 tests that I didn't even feel were related. But
Right.
when it was down to I'm not safe here, so to me that was going to be to me it meant there was going to be medications and things put in my body that were not going to agree with my own personal makeup, whatever that meant.
I hear you 100%.
So, and again, I'm not telling people, not to do what they feel is necessary for their own well-being. What I am saying is that there are ways to know what is best for your body, what is best for you, to feel out through that within your heart. Do you feel like this is what you need, or do you feel like it's not? It's about becoming true to yourself and really, really finding out what it is that is really necessary for your own well-being.
Well, the best way to do that, is the way I like to describe it is by thinking heart-mind, okay? We can think mind-heart. When we're thinking mind-heart, everything has to be logical. You have to think it out, and there has to be a logical answer for what you're going to do. But when you think with your heart, okay, it's a lot different. It's, do you feel good in your heart if you make this decision or that decision? Okay, that's what I tell people to do, and that's what I was going to say about finding a modality that you're looking for. Does it feel good in your heart to do this one or that one? And your heart will tell you.
Absolutely, it will. It will absolutely tell you. You know, I was, and I have the utmost respect for the Reiki modality. It is not something that I continue to do. It is, it's not because it doesn't work, because I have found that it works very well. It is not because of anything like that. What it is very structured. And that is very, very good for some people. It's very, very good for some masters that have a certain way of doing things, a certain technique. And that is why I moved more into the part of what I truly do, and that's shamanic healing. Mm-hmm. Because everybody is different to me. Everybody is different. There is not going to be a certain sequence or a certain way of doing things for each individual person. So there's going to be multiple ways, you know, in some of my practices, you know, I'm led to use some of the tools that you are. You know, you would not be one that would use the same tool with every person. Maybe a combination of people will. But,
yeah,
you know,
right. But yeah, what I find is that, okay, expanding on that thought is that you take 10 people with diabetes, they're going to have it for 10 different reasons. Everybody's going to be different. So you have to treat everybody differently. If you did treatment ABC on one person, or diabetes went away, you can't do ABC on the next person. It's just not going to work. You have to do those specific clearings for each specific person in order for anything to work. That's where the medical community fails, is that they're trying to eliminate leukemia for everybody with one specific pill.
I absolutely agree with that. There was, I want to give another example of my own personal experience with this. I had been having some difficulties with my bowels. And this was many years ago, and there was so many people that were having ear infections, you know, about that same time. And I went to the doctor and I got diagnosed with an ear infection. Well, that didn't help with my bowels at all. So, just because that was the common diagnosis for this particular period in time, it doesn't mean that everybody has that. I did not have an ear infection. There was nothing wrong with my ears. I did not have an infection at all, you know, and even had I had an ear infection, that doesn't mean the cause from it was the same that everyone else was having. You know, even if everybody at that period of time was having problems with their bowels, my makeup is my makeup. It doesn't have to do with anybody else's makeup. So where that underlying problem lies may be differ from everybody else that would have been having that same problem in that period of time.
Right.
So I agree with you.
Yeah, everybody's so different. And that's what I like about this work. It's so interesting all the time because nothing's ever the same.
And I find that in my work, you know, there can be, I do find a lot of the times that some things are similar to someone else's, like something would be the basis of a traumatic experience.
Yes, exactly.
You know, people are not understanding that a lot of the things that are happening within our bodies are very much related to those experiences.
Right. There's one thing that is a commonality with people, and that's satanic and demonic possession. Probably 90% of everybody on the world has got some kind of satanic energy within them. And what I find a lot with kids with learning disabilities and ADHD and stuff like that, it's all satanic, demonic, and probably a voodoo and black magic thrown in there to boot.
Wow, interesting. So let's focus on that just a little bit. So what would be some of the practices that you would do to relieve someone of these types of things?
Let's talk about voodoo. Okay, voodoo, black magic. If you consider the work I do and you do as white magic, of course there is black magic. Okay, I I've done a lot of research on voodoo and black magic only because I've had a few clients who were really under the influence and they're having really hard time with their health and their lives and that type of thing. So what I found is that a black magic or voodoo spell can be as much as just a negative thought that somebody is thinking about you. Okay, if that person has got a dark streak, that negative thought will cause a health problem. An example is an uncle of mine. He came over to the camper one night and he says, "Okay, Chris, show me this crazy stuff you do." So I says, "Okay, what kind of health problem do you have?" He says, "You know what? Every night before I go to bed, I get a pain in my shoulder blades, and only when I go to bed, and then I can't sleep at night. When I get up, it's gone." So I said, let's have a look and see what it is. It said a voodoo spell. And he looked at me, rolled his eyes, says, "Oh, wait a minute, that damn ex-wife of mine. All they're doing is fighting all the time." She was giving a negative thought. He was getting a pain. I removed the voodoo spell, and his pain went away that night. Okay, so that in itself is proof positive that there is that type of voodoo spell. It also goes to the extreme where people in different cultures, Haiti, Louisiana, lots of different places. Puerto Rico is big, Africa for doing black magic and voodoo spells. And I actually worked on a person who was sending out black magic and voodoo to other people. And this person had 14 kids from 14 different men, used 3 of the babies for sacrifices, and she was actively practicing voodoo. And I had to knock her power out of her in order to be able to heal this other person. So I've seen it on both spectrums. It is huge. It is really huge.
That's amazing. Wow. Wow. That's all I can say as well.
Yeah. And you know what?
And people don't realize the power of the thought.
Oh,
the power of the thought.
Thoughts are energy. Thoughts are energy.
They absolutely are energy. When we have, and some people you don't even have to call that voodoo, because some people would say, "Oh yeah, well I don't do that." Well, when we do have negative thoughts about people, that is an energy. It absolutely is an energy. And those negative energies can very much influence our well-being. Because when we think of someone, and I'll give an example. When I do readings, and someone wants wants some information, or wants to know how their child is, or whatever it might be, and I tell people to say their name. To say their name. That is my link to that person.
Oh yes.
It is their thought that brings the energy of that person to me.
Yes,
so that could absolutely work in another way. If you're having bad thoughts about someone else, about someone, or someone is having that, it can absolutely affect you. It really, really can. But does that mean we need to run around and try to make everybody happy? It absolutely does not. It means that, when we're find ourselves, that we only have negative thoughts, we need to really, really look deep down within ourselves and find out what the core of that is.
That's exactly right. And generally, if you're having negative thoughts all the time, that's because you've got some kind of negative spirit attachment within you, whether it be demonic or a poltergeist or just a mean spirit that hasn't crossed over, that just wants to create trouble. That generally is a big component. And then also, you have to work on what's causing you to be a miserable person too. Sometimes you just have to suck it up and look in the mirror and tell yourself to be a better person. But ultimately, there is something that's causing you to have these negative thoughts.
Absolutely. And another example, I was doing a workshop one time, and a lot of people have heard about psychic attack.
Yes.
Okay, and I had never experienced that. I had never experienced it. And so but I was being guided to speak on it. Okay? And so I did. And during this particular workshop, I engaged psychic attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I went home, and I couldn't sleep. And I'm the type of person that when I'm ready to sleep, I sleep. And this attack just kept going on and on and on and on and on, and I thought, oh my God, I just thought about this. and so I was able to remove that from me, and then I slept like a baby.
Yeah,
but this goes right along with what you're saying. There was someone in the class that was having very negative thoughts about me.
That's why I like to stay away from group sessions, because when you're working with a group, somebody's going to try and mix it up.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they did, and what it is, and it's okay. I really looked at that as an experience within myself, because I had not experienced what that felt like, what that looked like, what that was, and that absolutely did give me the opportunity to experience that and release myself of it. But which goes right, and that's why it's really important for us to, if we don't understand what this is, to seek out for the people like Chris and myself to help us with those things. There's our music. We're going to go to break. We'll talk to you in a minute. See you on the other side.
Radio at freedomflips.com. We'll be right back after this message.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Beyond the Illusion, and I am your host, Tammy Marsh, and I have with me today Chris Kehler. And but now I want to get back to our guest, Chris. Chris, are you back with us?
I'm here.
I want to, we talked just a little bit, and, at the break, and we were talking a little bit about, law of attraction with you. You want to tell me how you work with the law of attraction, or how this is implemented in the practice that you do?
Sure. Lots of people come to me for health problems. You name it, cancer, MS, general aches and pains, whatever it is. And I can work with that. But also, I go into the deep spiritual levels of somebody. So you come to me and you go like, you know what, Chris, this whole secret thing, it doesn't work. What's up with that? So what I've done is I've devised a way to work within your secret or your specific law of attraction. So what I do is I just look at it as part of your makeup. We all have our own law of attraction, our own secret. I like to call it the law of intent, because we intend things to happen through it. So what I do is I look in your law of attraction. What is causing it to either work backwards, not work at all, or whatever? So quite often I'm going to find an extraterrestrial in there, like a Zeta Reticuli, a gray alien, a reptilian, or
okay, you did it, because you saw something while we were at break about me.
Yeah, I did. I found a Zeta Reticuli in your higher self.
Okay, so what would we do to eliminate that from my higher self?
Let's do that right now. Okay, you tell me when you feel it. Okay, let's run the violet bowl through Tammy's higher self and release all Zeta Reticuli, all ETs into ether, please. You tell me when you feel it, and we're gonna get rid of it.
Okay, I already feel it. Feel it. It's immediate.
Yeah. Hold on.
I feel a. Wow, I feel it tingling throughout my entire body.
There you go. That's the power of this pyramid. Okay, let's pull them all out. There we go. Gone. Completely gone. So what I use there, it's called the violet bowl. What that is a combination of the violet light and gold light. And that gets rid of all ETs and all spirits immediately.
Negative, right? Because I don't want to get rid of good.
Only negative ones. So anyways, okay. Where were we? Okay, so law of attraction. So I'm going to go into your law of attraction, and I'm going to find out whatever's negative within it, move it out. Sometimes there's a reverse polarity that needs to be corrected, which is no big deal. Move out any kind of negative forces, any kind of negative thoughts, whatever it is. And then there's some other bodies that need to be joined with it, which is one is called the crystal body. It's part of your manifestation matrix. And there's also two more other ones that have to be all lined up. And quite often, sometimes there's different dimensional beings that will take one of these bodies and hide it in another dimension. So you have to go in and find it. You have to know what dimension to find it in, bring it back, clean it up, put it all back together, and things start working the way they're supposed to.
Well, I have to tell the listeners that I absolutely did feel that. I felt it within my being. And yes, I am sensitive to energies. However, this was so intense. You wouldn't have to be very sensitive to feel this. I'm very, very excited about that because, I mean, this was instantaneous. Instantaneous. By the time he said my name, I was already fully engulfed in this wonderful, beautiful feeling of energy that was throughout my body. I'm excited, Chris. I am absolutely excited.
Let's do something else. Let's do something else here. Okay, so this is, again, for everybody who's listening. Thomas, Tammy, I want you to join in too. So we are going to use blue light and the diamond flame together to run live photons into everybody's body. And I'll tell you what that is in a second.
Okay. We don't want to stay quiet too long. We'll get dead air.
No. Infuse live photons into everyone's body. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. So everybody just got a charge of live photons. Okay, what are live photons? Photons are light particles, okay? Back in the day, when Christ would touch you and heal you, he used live photons. So we are using Christ energy right now within this. The pyramid is connected directly to Christ. This is running full out Christ energy through everybody. That's what the magic is about this.
Wow, that's lovely.
It's a nice energy, isn't it?
It is absolutely a wonderful energy. You know, and I really, really want to encourage, people to call in. People to call in. If you're listening to this show right now and you have experienced anything with this beautiful energy that Chris is helping us experience, this wonderful healing energy, please call in or come in and feel some of this, and I know you don't have to be in this exact call, in the Skype call, like I am, to feel this. You don't have to be. So I want to encourage everybody to call in 435. Nope, that's not it. I was going to give you my home phone number. We're not going to do that. 347-688-2902. 347-688-2902. And we will be happy to take calls at this time. So please
What's nice is that anybody who's listening to the archive of this show is still going to feel the energy.
Absolutely, and I have found just that. That's why, you don't have to be what I want to call physically present, whether it be listening to a live broadcast, an archived broadcast. This works regardless. There is no space in time in energy. There's not. So it doesn't matter how you engage in it. When you engage in it, it just matters that you engage in it.
That's right. Now, if anybody wants to get a better feeling about my type of work and to get a better knowledge of it, I got about, I'd say, 50 videos on YouTube. If you go on my website and have a look, there's a button you can click for YouTube, and it'll take you to all my videos. I've got demonstrations on how I'm using certain tools. I do a lot of explaining about my philosophies, about different things. If somebody requests me to do a video on explaining something, I'll do a video. I'm a big ham. I love doing this type of stuff. So lots of information there, because ultimately that all this work is really tough to describe to people. How do you describe you're holding a pyramid over somebody's head and you're taking away their cancer? Come on. It's a difficult thing to describe. So if you can see it we're all visual beings. If you can visualize it, then you can understand it a little better.
Okay, and it's very interesting that Thomas, which is a mad painter, my producer, has been making a few little comments there on the Skype chat during this energy work that you've been doing. Thomas, you want to come on and say what you've been saying in this little...
When he did that with you, I was in the middle of typing, and it made me stop. I got such a charge from it.
Right, wow, nice. And when
and it wasn't even directed at me.
No, it wasn't. It was
directed
not.
For everybody.
Yes. What about the first one where I was describing my heels going into the carpet?
I was feeling the same thing.
The same thing?
Yeah, exactly the same thing.
And that's what he's been typing to us in the Skype chat here, and that's what he's been telling us. And I just wanted him to share that with the listeners a little bit.
Everybody that knows me knows I'm sensitive to the power of people. I pick up on it real quick and easy. I don't say it a lot of times, but I do.
Yep, and it works for everybody. There's not just, you don't have to be of a certain belief or a certain way, doing things a certain way in your life. You just don't have to be. It's for everybody. And Chris, I wanted to talk about, how your work does, there's a lot of people out there that are having fertility issues. Does this work for someone like that?
Well, I've got a 2-year-old son that's proof positive. My current wife now, she was married before, and she wasn't able to carry a baby full term. When we got married, we tried, and she had a miscarriage. Unfortunately, I did my work on her, and we got a 2-year-old, and within one try, we got another one on the way, going to be born in February. So yes, it does work. I have worked on other people with fertility issues, and you know what? Ultimately, like, I work with the energy stuff, but quite often somebody is deficient in a mineral. Minerals are really important, so I do work in the nutritional end of things also, and I use my pendulum to find out what mineral you may be deficient in. Quite often, if somebody's having a fertility issue, you're deficient in the mineral selenium. That is important for the hormones. Being pregnant is all about hormones. So if there's a hormone imbalance or deficiency, you've got a mineral deficiency or excess. So you have to look at that aspect also. Funny story is my wife's cousin came to see me, and they've been trying to have a baby for quite a while and just kept on losing it and just wasn't working. So they decided they're not going to have any more kids. They got rid of all their children's toys and stuff like that. And I did a bunch of work on her, and incidentally worked on her uterus, and all of a sudden she got pregnant and they had a baby about 6 months ago. So it does work. There's no doubt.
Nice. And I know there's a lot of people out there that that truly are trying very, very hard to have a baby, and they can't. And so this would be a perfect way for you to increase your and I'm not going to say just increase your chances, but allow yourself to really engage in being the parent that you want to be, to allow yourself to experience that of what you are longing for.
Well, there's a lot of people spending tens of thousands of dollars for treatments for fertility, in vitro and stuff like that. And of course, there's lots of success stories. I'm not saying don't do it, but you know what? Before you start going through all that, try a modality like this or what you do, or see somebody who can maybe do a little bit to make a big difference and not spend a lot of money.
And during this, Chris, this airing, which is right now live, it is, and I'm just going to tell everybody the date. Today is Sunday, September 8th, 2013, so it is live today. There is... well, I lost my train of thought. I just absolutely, it just went right out the window. But there is so many people out there, Chris, that really need some type of newfound ways to feel good, to allow their bodies to be restored into a more functional, a more different way of being. There's so many people out there with pain, and these modalities work. And during this last course, my thought just came back. During the course of this show, you have worked with a couple of different tools, and you did elaborate on that a little bit at the beginning of the show. And I know on your website I have seen some of these tools. Do you want to talk a little bit more about those?
Yeah, the tools that I sell on my website are basically the same ones that I use in my clinic. Now, I do have neutralization rings on my website, but they're personal ones. They're really nice because they're only 7 inches big. They do the exact same thing, just not as fast as the big ones that I use in my office. Nice thing is that they're only $50. Okay, cheap like borscht. And what these neutralization rings are good for, if you're a person who uses crystals, these will clear your crystals in about 30 seconds instead of leaving them in salt or in the sunlight or in the moonlight for overnight. These will clean them instantly, okay? If you use that neutralization ring on a daily basis, you put it on the ground and you stand over it with your spinal column lined up to it, it's going to keep on pulling out negative energy on a daily basis. You can put your food on top of it. If you go to a restaurant, get a plate of food, put your food on top of it. It'll remove negativity from your food. One neat way to try to make sure it is working is if you take a bottle of wine. We all like to have a bottle of wine now and then. You take and you pour one glass, you pour another glass. You put one glass on top of that neutralization ring for about a minute. Then you take a sip from each one. You're going to see that the one that was on the ring tastes a lot smoother. It's taken some of the negativity. It's realigned the molecules a little bit. And it's going to taste a lot different. So those rings are really cool that way. I also got what's called a sun ring, which is basically the opposite of the neutralization ring. That one is plated in pure gold. The neutralization is pure platinum. What the sun ring does is it's going to add energy, okay? It's going to give you the energy of the sun, not the heat of the sun, but the energy of the sun. So it's going to broadcast that energy into your food, into your body. You can put it in your bathtub while you're having a bath and energize the water. And after a while doing it, you do notice a difference. If you're sensitive in energy, like all of us are, you're going to notice it right away that something works, okay? I've also got a triple pyramid, okay? The neat thing, why is it a triple pyramid? Why is there 3 of them? If you were to be able to look at the base of the pyramid, you would see a shape. You would see the Star of David. That's the sacred geometry part of it, okay? That's why we make a triple. And then within there is a sun ring, so it's going to do double duty. What you can do with the triple pyramid, you hang it over your bed. You're going to live a lot longer if you do that. You can put it over top of your fridge to make your food last longer. You can give it intent. You take that pyramid, if you got a headache, hold it over your head and say, neutralize, eliminate my headache. Your headache will go away, okay? So there's lots of different purposes for all these different tools. They work great.
Okay, and you want to tell everybody what your website is again, so maybe they can take a look for themselves?
Yeah, the website is chriskehler.net, CHRISKEHLER. Just Google my name. You'll get 2 pages worth of information. I'm everywhere.
Okay, Chris Kehler, spelled Kehler.
Correct.
.net. All right. And, and I have been on your website and only talked to you, just once on the phone. But I have really, enjoyed this conversation. And you were talking about, I don't know. I just, for those that are just tuned in, I would like to have a replay for you to give that negative energy.
Yes.
Again, if you would not mind. Yeah, that would be great.
So everybody who wants to participate and feel this energy, it works best when you stand up. So I want everybody who wants to try it to stand up. Keep your hands on the computer. If you're wearing a headset, that's perfect. That's all you got to do. So now I'm putting the ring over my computer. And I'm going to run this energy into the whole system. And within a few seconds, if not 30 seconds, you're going to feel a heaviness. You're going to feel off balance. You might feel tingling. You might feel something adjusting or moving in your body. So give it a few seconds. It's going to happen. And just let me know when you feel something going on, Tammy.
Well, it's immediate with it's absolutely immediate with me, and it's really really interesting that this just came to mind. Is is when you were talking about that negative ET dancing around in my being. We're just going to put it that way, dancing around in my being. I have been experiencing a lot of discomfort in my physical being, and with that, I'm not. And I knew something was there. I could feel it, and I told you that during the break. That yes, that I know that there's several beings that dance around with me, And I also told you when you saw it that I also was aware of the one negative one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when you did that energy removal, that ET removal work with me, the lower abdomen pain that I was having is now gone.
Yes. Yeah, that's
it's gone. I am not experiencing any of that pain. And the reason why I'm really really getting personal here, Chris, is because what you're doing, and when I came across you, actually when I became aware of you, I really 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 looked with my intuition in your energy. I really look in it, and the work that you do is from the heart. It absolutely is, and it is very beneficial. And that's what I was looking. To not sound cruel, but I really, really didn't care about Chris the person. And I'm not saying that as I didn't care about you. I care about everybody. But it wasn't, it wasn't your intention that I was looking for. What I was looking for was the quality of your work.
Yes, and I appreciate that.
And that's why, it was really, really important for me to bring you on here. It's very, very important because the quality of this work, when I look into it, it is of the highest quality. It is of that essence of love. That the one thing that I can tell everybody without any doubt, with great conviction, is the highest energy that we have for healing is the energy of love.
100%. And when I am running this energy with the pyramids, it is working with God's love, God's light, and it's working right through Christ. This is going to all the highest powers. I'm not a Bible thumper. Everybody can sit down now. I'm not a Bible thumper. I don't preach and read and stuff like that. But I know that all this work is coming from that higher creator power.
The only thing that you need to do to engage in it, the only thing, is to allow yourself to do it.
That's right.
That's it. That is all. That is it. Even if you are what I would call, a person that is very, very negative and narrow-minded, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is allow yourself to engage in it.
That's right. That's right. Now, one other thing I want to touch on. I don't know if a lot of people have been hearing about this fifth dimension shift, or this new consciousness that is supposed to be happening. We're within, this new realm of a higher consciousness, a higher thinking and clarity and that type of thing. There is going to be some happenings going on in the earth beginning of November 3rd to be exact. Okay, now I think I told you before that one of my mentors, the guy who makes my tools, is very deep into clearing the earth grid to allow this consciousness to come in. On November 3rd, there is going to be what's called a hybrid eclipse, which is a lunar eclipse that coincides with specific Jewish holidays. That Jewish mysticism is huge in the energy realm. So once this two things happen together, it creates an energy, just like the planets being in alignment, like a full moon, like all these different things that happen. They bring in different energies. Now, the last time this eclipse happened was 2,000 years ago. Okay, think about it. Now, what else is going to be happening along with this eclipse? Comet Ison is coming into the picture at the same time. So now you've got these three components that are going to be bringing in energy. Now, if this comet Ison becomes a sun diver and dives into the sun, there could be a solar flare big enough to knock a few power lines out. So something to watch for. I'm not into conspiracy. These are all actual facts, that this eclipse is going to happen. This comet is going to come through at the same time. To me, that means big energy. What else do you want to talk about? Let's go on to more specifics about health problems, because you know what, everybody does go to the doctor with a problem, and the doctor is going to tend to give you a badge to wear. You have pain in your joints, you get to wear the arthritis one. You have pain all through your body and we don't know what it is, you get to wear fibromyalgia. You know, you have your muscles won't work properly and you can't walk straight, you get to wear muscular or MS or whatever. So with my work, what I do is I take that badge off of you, okay? That doesn't exist anymore because that's an energy. As soon as the doctor says you have diabetes, now in the back of your head, you've got diabetes for the rest of your life and you're going to die with it, okay? That's what happens. So I take that badge off, okay? I just remove that badge. And then I start looking deep into your body to exactly what's causing the problem. Once you get past the spiritual attachments, which everybody has, generally is about 5 different things that are causes of health problems. Okay, number one is mineral deficiency. That's probably one of the biggest ones. Mineral excesses, and people don't realize that if you're taking, let's look at this. Okay, if you're iron deficient, okay, you go to the doctor and he says you're anemic, you're low on iron. Here, take iron. No, that's a wrong thing to do. Because you're low on iron, you're probably low on the mineral copper. Copper is the one mineral that aids iron to absorb into your red blood cells. So people who are on a vegan diet, you don't eat red meats, you don't get enough copper, you become iron deficient, you take a copper supplement, and you're taking too much iron to get your levels up. What's happening to that extra iron? It's getting stored in your body. It's called iron storage disease. When that iron gets into your muscles, it causes muscle pain. If it gets into your brain, it's going to cause a migraine. If it gets into your breast tissue, that can cause breast cancer. So you really have to look at the minerals coming into your body. Now, quite often we live in an area with hard water, lots of calcium, lots of lime, lots of iron. Those minerals cannot be absorbed into your body. The molecule is far too big. So you have to make sure that all the minerals in your body are balanced so that your body can get these minerals out. You really have to have that balance. Mineral-wise, if your potassium and sodium are out of balance, you're going to have heart problems. So when the doctor says, don't take salt because it's going to raise your blood pressure, well, it's also going to skyrocket your potassium and give you heart palpitations. We all need sea salt. Don't buy salt off the shelf in the store. Buy a good quality sea salt, okay? So it's the same with zinc and copper. If your copper is really low, your zinc gets really high. Now you've got a list of health problems as long as my arm, okay? The balances are really, really key. So minerals, you really have to look at a health problem. Next biggest one is parasites. If every doctor in the world had a live blood analysis microscope within their office, they would find half of the world's health problems. Parasites are huge. What do I use for parasites? Number one, you have to use energy. Use diatomaceous earth, which kills parasites, or I use a herbal parasite syrup with black walnut and all kinds of different things in it, and it works fantastic. And then you also have to look at viruses, okay? The herpes virus is huge, huge, huge. Shingles is the herpes zoster virus. If you have a history of cold sores with yourself or your family, you've got the herpes virus. There's just no way around it. You've got that virus. That doesn't mean you've been sleeping with somebody funny. Everybody, as soon as you hear the word herpes, you think STD. It's not so much that. It's just a virus, okay? Another big one that people don't realize, but more people are starting to learn about, is Lyme disease. Lyme disease can mimic 250 different diseases. You know what? Lyme disease is communicable. You can get it from a mosquito bite. You can get it from drinking out of somebody's soda can. I did research with a lady who had Lyme disease to the point where she could not get out of bed. She beat it by taking a specific herb designed by Hulga Clark for Lyme disease. Okay, it's called SPK. So she beat Lyme disease. She went to university. She wrote her university thesis on Lyme disease. The research she did is phenomenal. She shared it with me, and now I'm treating people for Lyme disease before the doctors even know it's even there. Doctors won't even acknowledge you have Lyme disease. So those are the basics that can be a problem. Also, bacteria, funguses and bacteria are also humongous, and you have to know how to work with them. Oil of oregano, liquid silver, liquid bentonite, they all work fantastic on those types of things. So those types of issues can be beat if you take them and you want to subscribe to them. Other than that, by otherwise working on the spiritual attachments and working on those things, that's the basis to all health problems. If the virus is in your pancreas, now you've got insulin issues. There's your diabetes. If you've got migraines, you've got iron or calcium built up in your brain. That's all it is, okay? It doesn't have to be this huge problem that nobody can find and that you are going to live with the rest of your life. That's just the way it goes. There's my rant.
That's absolutely, and I agree with you 100%. Chris, we do have a question from our chat room. And Modias, I think that's how you say his name, asked if you could explain more about your radionic services.
Oh, the radionics is a pretty cool thing in itself. That's how I got started in the whole energy realm before I got turned on to the tools. Radionics is the use of frequency. Everything in the whole universe vibrates at a certain frequency, okay? Now, if you have a machine like a radionic device that can fine-tune into those frequencies, you can actually vibrate out a frequency. Let's say you got an infection, a viral infection in your liver. If you know what the viral infection is, you have the code for it in your radionic book. You put the frequencies of the person. It could be a hair sample or a saliva sample. Could be a picture, whatever. You put that in the machine. You put the frequency for liver, and then you put in the frequency for the virus. You flick a switch, and then it vibrates it out, just like an opera singer singing at a frequency and shattering a wine glass. Now that vibrational rate of the virus is no longer there, and through quantum physics, that person now no longer has the virus, okay? Specifically, what I use radionics for is to charge things, okay, to make homeopathic remedies. I buy wristbands, okay? We've all seen the balance band on TV or on the internet. You can buy them. They're like $30 or something, and people wear them, and their balance is better, helps them perform in sports a lot better. I buy similar types of wristbands. I put them in my radionic device, and I can put whatever frequency I want in there to do whatever I want. So the one that works really good for me and for a lot of people, it's a wristband I designed for sleep. So I've got all the frequencies for insomnia, for melatonin, all the things that people need to sleep. You wear the wristband when you go to bed, you sleep like a baby. I sell hundreds of them. They work fantastic. I also make one for stress. I'm working on one right now for mosquitoes. That's a tough one. Not everything is so easy to do with this. You do trial and error, and when things work, then you go with it. But that's basically what I use my radionics for. It's more efficient that way. To remove health problems from a person, I'll use the tools. If I want to work somebody all week long, if somebody's got stage 4 cancer, I'll use the tools, and I'll use their frequency in a radionic device and just run it all week long.
That's great. I'm really sure that answered our question. We have about less than a half hour left of the show, and I'm really, really glad that you hit on I'm tongue-tied. I don't usually get tongue-tied. I feel like there's some information out there, and that's what I need to address, but I'm not getting the information that you need to share what it is, because that needs to come from you. So there's something in there that you have not said yet that is of utmost importance for our listeners to hear. Do you know what that is?
The important thing is that this work works anywhere on the planet, anywhere within the universe. So I live in Winnipeg, Canada, okay? You may be in San Diego, California, or you might be in Moscow, Russia. no matter where you are on the planet, this work will work for you immediately, okay? We do it on Skype. We do it on the telephone. It doesn't matter. I run the energy. I can read you, no problem, no matter where you are, and this work will work. Half of my clients are in other countries, other cities, and you know, it speaks for itself, the success I'm having. I do this 5 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day. Sometimes I take a day off if I let myself, and people keep on coming back. I've got entire families coming to see me because this works. I got people I've got a couple movie stars coming to see me. I can't tell you who they are, of course. I got a few movie stars who are working with me. So this stuff is real. Energy work is real. I'm really honest. It's $50 a session. Okay, how many people can't afford $50 a session to improve your health? Okay, it's affordable for everybody. I want to keep it that way. There's many people who do this type of work, and they're really good at it, and they're going to charge you $1,000, $500. They're going to, you know, make it sound like they're really, really high on themselves, and I can charge this much money because I'm worth it. I could charge whatever I want, but I need to keep it affordable. My ultimate goal is to do this work for free. Once I got my companies and investments going, and I have income coming from somewhere else, this work is going to be free for everybody.
That's absolutely amazing. Absolutely
this is God's
amazing.
work. This is God's work. You don't have to pay for God's work.
Absolutely. You know, and we do as a human being, as a physical being, we really, really need to allow ourselves to heal. You know, that is, you know, gosh, it's right there. The words, it is time for us to heal. Everybody wants to know, you know, why we are only scooching at this time. And yes, that is my word for this time that we are in, that we're right here and we're doing it. We're right here, but we're only scooching. But what is it that's holding us back?
Well,
what is it within ourselves that is holding us back? And it is because we haven't allowed ourselves to truly heal. That is the most important thing here, Chris, is that it is time for us to engage and allow ourselves to engage in the healing of our own personal being. It is our responsibility to do that. We are a free will people, and a lot of the times that our free will has been taken away from us by misinformation and false information and just the lack of knowledge that there are things out there, there are people out there that are discredited in doing these works because they are different. And a lot of us believe those things just because it is not within our norm. But one of the things, which is the most important thing that is holding our expansion back, is the willingness to expand and allow ourselves to truly be healed. You notice I didn't stumble on those words because those are words from our spirit. That is from source. It comes to me because when we allow ourselves to expand, we have to be the ones that do it. There's no one that is just going to do it for us. We are the ones that we're waiting for. Although there are people and beings out there that are assisting us in this new paradigm, this new dimension, this new transition, there are those that are helping us. But it is ultimately up to us to decide, because our free will not be infringed upon by the beings that I'm talking about. The beings and the people and the entities that are out there that do not want to see this transition manufacture itself, to manifest itself, are the ones that are discrediting a lot of the people that are doing this work as Chris is in different modalities and different techniques, but it is all the same energy. It is the energy of love. But in order for you to embrace this completely love energy, this healing energy, the only thing that you have to do is allow it. Because once we allow ourselves to do so, that is when you're really, really going to start becoming aware of this new transition that is happening. Not that it is going to happen. That is happening. Yes, there are going to, like Chris said, there are going to be heights in this energy that allow this to help manifestation come into this new dimension, this new structure, this new paradigm, this new awareness, this new truth, and this new freedom. But we have to allow it in order to do that. And we have to allow ourselves to engage in the healing that is needed for each and every one of us as individuals. And those, my dear, were words straight from Spirit. And they were straight from my heart in allowing me to say them to you. That is what I was waiting for. And I knew it was there. And when it's there, it just says to speak. Yes, this can be very, very affordable. It can even be free. It can, just like some of this wonderful energy that Chris has done with all of the listeners on this station at this moment with me in allowing, and he gave that freely. There is no one being paid here. Chris is not a paid guest. I am not a paid host. There are ways, if you cannot otherwise afford it, there are ways to just simply allow. There are ways, it's within you to heal you. It's within you. It is there. It's simply a matter of allow it. If you can't find that you can do that for yourself, if you are not in the part of your journey where you feel that it is within your own power to do so, that's why Chris is here. That's exactly why Chris is here. That's exactly why I am here. That is exactly why there are so many people that are engaged in this type of work, whether it be called one thing or another, because we are put in place to help people that don't know that they can. So that's what I needed to say. That's what Spirit needed to say. And we have probably about 10 minutes left of the show. And during that last 10 minutes, you know, if you want to contact Chris Kehler, he has a wonderful website that he's going to give out where you can contact him and some contact information. Chris, would you please give out some contact information?
Yeah, well, once again, my website is chriskehler.net. Just do a Google search on my name. You'll find it. My email address, please email me. Ask me a question. I'm not going to charge you to answer a question. CKEHLER100 at shaw.ca. When somebody emails me or calls me, I get back to you the same day. I'm not one of these guys with a big ego that has to make you wait for a week to get back to you to say, well, I'm very busy and I'll get to you when I can. No. Everybody's important. I'm going to get back to you. My office number is on my website. Feel free, give me a call. More likely going to go into voicemail, but I will get back to you. There's no doubt there. Please have a look at my YouTube site, okay? Just go on YouTube and do a search on my name. You'll see I got about 60 different videos. I'm always doing something new every week, putting on a different video describing a tool, talking about a philosophy, just generally ranting about something that's on my mind that day. And I just love putting these things up because people get to see it and they know that I'm a real person and not just somebody who thinks I can do this for a living. So please have a look at my website. My guitar player in my band built it. He's a wonderful guy. So please have a look.
Thank you, Chris. And within the last few minutes of the show, and I know we didn't have, any callers, and sometimes with a new person, people want to feel people out first, and that is very, very, very good for people to do, and I commend people for doing that. I absolutely do. But if the information that you've heard here has really, really touched your heart, and you really, really feel the need to reach out for someone that does that, really, really go into your heart, just the way it pulled you into saying, maybe I need to do that. I feel like I need to do something like that. You do it. You pick out someone the same way that you pick out, how does that feel? Does this feel right for you? And you will be led to the right person. There is a lot of, which is very, very, it's very difficult for me to know that there are so many people out there that make this a competition. This is not a competition. We are all here for very significant purpose. We are here. The right people will come to you. I have no problem, none whatsoever, on having someone that does something a little bit differently than I do. There's people out there that will very, very much be drawn to Chris, be drawn to the 50, 60 other healers that I am very aware of. This is not a competition. What this is allowing yourself to be drawn to the person that is meant for you. That's what this is about. It is time for the healers to understand that. It is time to be unified. That doesn't mean that we have to all know each other, but what it does mean is that we are complementary to each other. I have people that come to me that are not meant for me at times, and I would say, you know what, Chris would be the perfect person for you. I feel that for you. Why don't you take a look at that and see how his work feels to you? Because sometimes we are just meant to be a contact or a point to lead it to another person, and that is okay. That is okay, but it's what's perfect for you that matters. Because you will be drawn to the one that you can relate to, that you can feel very comfortable with, and that's what it is. So someone that is perfect for you. And at this very, very time, I want to call out to all of the healers out there that are listening or that will listen to this broadcast. Stop with the this is the business part of this. It's not a competition. It is not a competition. If you are looking within your practices and within your sharing as a competition, you might want to relook at that on why you're doing it in the first place. You really need to relook at that. Chris, it has absolutely been my honor to have you on this show.
Well, thank you very much. It was my pleasure, and I would love to do your show again, Tammy.
Well, I know intuitively that you are going to reach more and more and more people are going to come to you and benefit from that. And I also believe, do you mind if I tell you what I see for you?
Please go ahead.
You mentioned something about this work becoming free with other areas of income coming into you so that you can make this free. I do see that happening in a bit, not immediately, but in a bit. I also see you becoming more of a teacher for other people and helping them become confident with doing the work that you do and spreading so that there are more people in place that can offer it, even though it is very, very powerful. being remotely done, but there's a lot of people that like that in person. And I see you sharing that with other people. And I see you becoming a leader in that type of way of sharing. Not that you want a following, because I don't see that about you, but you are a person that wants to share. And there are only a few triumphs that are left standing. And the only reason I call them triumphs is they're very significant experiences is the better word for them. So I want to say to you, keep doing what you're doing and keep following your heart, because what you are doing is truly a blessing to yourself as well as others.
Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome. So I am going to let you, we've only got a few minutes left, but that needed to be said before closing, because I always seem to, we're in something before at the end. So finish up with the last few minutes on what you want to share with people, Chris.
Basically, again, please, like Tammy said, think with your heart. Is this work right for you? I mean, if you're listening to this show, there's a really good chance it is. You really have nothing to lose to try this before you do something by going for surgery or whatever. It does work. It works for anything. Depression, people with addictions. I've worked with many people with alcohol addictions, drug addictions. That is all easily done. If you want to stop smoking, I can help you with that. I've got ways to help you stop smoking, and it works really, really good. You don't have to take any drugs from any doctors, and it does work.
Perfect. And I know there's a lot of people out there that would like to stop smoking. So that it does work for everything. When it comes to healing work, there are no limitations. There just are not any limitations. It works for everything. These tools really, really interest me. They really, really interest me. But I did notice on your website that there's not a lot of pricing on them. So could you give us a roundabout or how the pricing works?
Yeah, the small rings are $50. Okay. The triple pyramid with the sun ring is $189. There is a beamer, which is basically an energy one, and that contains the frequencies of the 5 noble gases, and that also is an intended tool. You hold it, you point it at an area of your body, you tell it what to do. Okay, that is with shungite on it. It's $189. I recommend getting the one with the shungite. Other than that, they're $160. The wristbands for sleep, for stress, whatever wristband you want, those are $29 or $39. I also sell shungite crystals for your water. 200 grams is $24. That works great for putting nutrition into your water, for clearing all impurities out of your water. And with the shungite, if you're energetic, you can actually program it to go into your body and do something specific. So that is something. I also have a video on shungite on my YouTube channel. You can learn more about it. Shungite is very, very popular as a healing tool.
You have been listening to Beyond the Illusion. I'm your host, Tammy Marsh. My guest has been Chris Kehler. Please look him up. Up next is Evolution right here, with even more right here on Revolution Radio. Hope you guys stay tuned. Talk to you next week. It's been fun. Good night, everybody.